Like I said in my video yesterday, rain or shine, I always hit the gym. And man, is it coming down here in Florida. I think we're gonna be getting rain every day this week. But that doesn't mean I stay at home and I don't work out. I gotta be careful. People are just pulling out in the rain. So we are heading to the gym, even though it's just pouring like crazy. I stepped on the scale this morning, as you saw, 184. Now what you didn't see is yesterday I was 189, and that was a result of going to Rodizio's Brazilian steakhouse. I think I gained like, 5 pounds because I ate all that food. And basically what I did yesterday is I fasted all day yesterday on Sunday. I normally fast on a Saturday, but since we went to Rodizio's on Saturday, I fasted on Sunday, which was yesterday, and I dropped 5 pounds overnight. So we're at 184. The new goal is to get to 175 by the end of July so I can get ready for my cruise. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn this off, and because it is raining pretty bad and I'm heading to the gym. So stay tuned for when I get home from the gym. We're gonna talk about, is the low-fat diet making a comeback? And I wanna talk to you about why that is probably the worst thing that you could do for your health and your weight loss.
You can always tell it's a Monday. This place is packed, even though it's raining outside. So we're gonna go ahead and do some chest, back, a little bit of legs. Won't really be able to film it because my wife's not with me. Because it is summertime, kids are at home, so we have to kind of do our workouts separate. So we're gonna go ahead and get this workout in, and then we're gonna head home. Workout is finally done. You can always tell it's a Monday. This parking lot is packed. And I'm not wearing the best shoes for when it rains.
I got these Adidas drop set shoes
that are open on the bottom, and when it rains, your feet get all wet. It's supposed to air out your feet. Problem is, when it rains, your feet are gonna be soaked, so not the best shoes to wear when it's raining. But I will tell you, they are a good lifting shoe. Flat feet, great way to do deadlifts, squats, and things like that. So I'm gonna jump in the car because it's starting to rain again.
I almost got into the wrong car. I can't believe there's like a car exactly like mine parked next to me. I went to open the handle. I couldn't understand why it wouldn't open. And I look in there, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not my things. What the heck? And then I realized that my car was parked right next to it. I mean, what are the odds? Back from the gym, and it's starting to lighten up on the rain. Hopefully I can get a walk in because I do love my walks after the gym. So now I want to just discuss, like, is there a trend starting to develop as it relates to the low-fat diet? Now, this was a craze back in the 90s where everybody was doing low-fat, low-fat, low-fat. And I used to speak against low-fat diets because I used to do a low-fat diet. Back in the day, in my 20s, I did the standard bodybuilding diet. It's basically bland chicken, egg whites, you'd have white rice, some type of potato. Everything was low-fat, all right? Oatmeal. And I gotta tell you, that diet was really, really bland, and it never quite satisfied me. But it looks like it could potentially be making a comeback. There's a couple YouTube channels that are starting to preach this low-fat message, and I absolutely hate it. It sucks because, number one, you need fat in your diet for proper hormone production, testosterone, all those kind of things. Your body needs fat for, your brain, all that kind of stuff, all right? Plus, fat keeps you satiated, all right? You're not gonna be as hungry when you eat a higher fat diet. Like what I've done for a decade is keto and carnivore. Now, I do have a coaching program. It's called Keto Shed 40. And there's times where I will implement a strategy to help my clients overcome a plateau. And one of the strategies that I use is called a protein blast. Essentially, it's a low-fat diet for just 10 days. So I'll kind of give you an example. And I always tell my clients, look, I know you're used to intermittent fasting. You're used to eating 1 to 2 meals a day. This is the way I've done, the way I've been eating for years. Obviously, you guys saw me test out this whole sugar diet and sugar fasting type of thing. It was a great experiment, but I really do love keto carnivore. So I'm gonna be adopting that more often, but I might be strategically eating some leaner meats, which is kind of like a low-fat diet. So I'm going to kind of do like a mix. So for my clients who struggle that, with keto, you'll lose a lot of weight in the beginning stages. You're losing a lot of water weight. They're doing great. They're satisfied. Their cravings go away. They're in ketosis. Everything goes great. But then somewhere along the lines, they plateau. So one of the strategies I do is a protein blast. And essentially, all you do for a protein blast is you're dropping fat to the floor. There's going to be no fat at all for just 10 days. So let me give you kind of some examples of some foods that you can eat that is low fat. In fact, I got some in my fridge that I'm probably going to be eating today. So if my clients that I coach, and by the way, if you want more information on my Keto Shed coaching program, I'll just drop a link in the description of this video. Basically, it'll kind of explain more in detail as to what I do and how I can potentially help you, all right? So essentially what I tell them to do is, I know you're used to doing intermittent fasting 1 to 2 meals a day, but you're probably going to notice your hunger is going to go up. Because remember, like I just said, fat keeps you satiated. So what I recommend people do when they do this 10-day protein blast is they may have to bump their meals to 3 meals a day, but still keep it in a 6-hour eating window. So you could have your first meal at 12, your second meal at 3, and then your third meal at 6. So you're still fasting for 18 hours and you're eating in a 6-hour eating window, but you can't have any fat, all right? So the first meal that I used to do all the time, actually, I've got some in my fridge. Let's just check it out. I went to Costco and I would do like a whole cup of egg whites with some veggies. You can put some salsa on it. Egg whites is very bland. And this is why back in the day when I was doing the typical bodybuilding diet, I didn't like it very much because it is bland food. But there's things you can do with egg whites, all right, that'll still keep you on your weight loss plan. So I got egg whites, that's very, very lean, no fat in egg whites. Let's see what else I got. Actually, let me just pull all this stuff out, I'll kind of show you. So we have that. Now the other day I had grilled chicken breast. And it's funny, when me and my wife were dating, I used to live in a house with 5 other guys. We were all bachelors. And she would watch me cook my chicken, and she's Spanish, and I would cook it bland. She's like, are you kidding me? You're gonna eat bland chicken? Let me just show you how to season it. So now I have marinated chicken that I actually put on the grill. Man, these came out so good and so juicy. I usually fillet them and everything. I pound them to get them nice and tender. Lean, all right? Make sure to use a good marinade that doesn't have fat in it. That's gonna be key, all right? So we got the chicken breast. Let me just put this in the fridge. I don't want to leave cooked chicken out for too long. So we have that. Oh, a couple of other things. All right, there are certain yogurts that have low fat. And I'll tell you another food group that is very low in fat and very high in protein. Sorry about that, guys. Apparently my gimbal just totally died, so I had to reset up the camera. But anyway, as I was saying, another food group that is very low in fat and very high in protein is going to be anything seafood. So I've got these baby scallops. I mean, these are loaded with protein, 0 fat. This type of yogurt, Okios, I don't know if I'm saying that right, 0 fat, but a lot of protein. I think there's like 15 grams of protein. I love the flavored kind. These are fantastic. Any type of seafood like tilapia. I love salmon, but there's a lot of fat in salmon, so you can't have that. So that would be like a meal 2. I mean, or meal 3. Meal 2, you could have maybe the chicken breast, and then meal 3 at 6 o'clock, you could have some type of seafood or chicken as well. So you can kind of alternate your protein sources. So you just want to keep it in that window, 12, 3, and 6. So like I said, egg whites, first meal. Second meal, maybe I'll have some type of chicken breast with veggies. Third meal, I would have some type of seafood. Now, if you don't like seafood, then, it's going to be hard to get your protein goals. However, something else, let me just go back to my fridge. I don't have my gimbal, so it's not going to be following me around. Protein shake. So I just got done at the gym, and I used to drink protein shakes all the time. And I got away from protein shakes because I thought, you know what, you can't beat whole food. So I always would tell people hey, eat whole food, forget the protein shakes. Sometimes protein shakes are full of other stuff, you don't want to do it. But I'm going to start implementing some protein shakes to get the extra protein because I do train 5 days a week. I mean, 5 days a week, full body, I need the protein, all right? So is the low-fat diet making a comeback? I would say no, but like all these diets, keto, carnivore, sugar diet, sugar fasting, Mediterranean diet, Whole30, low fat. They're all tools, guys. They're tools. They're not meant to do long term. Like I said in my coaching program, if you know, a lot of my clients, when they would get stuck, I would just say, hey, just take all the fat out, eat lean protein for 10 days. And typically what'll happen if you do lean protein in like a 10-day window, you're gonna drop like 7 pounds because you're dropping the fat to the floor. Now, here's the key. When you go to put the fat back into the diet, here's what you gotta do. Don't overdo it. In fact, I'm gonna give you a perfect macro strategy that you can use so you don't overdo it on your fat grams. Keep it at 100 grams or lower. If you start getting above that 100 grams, that's when you start to notice that your weight loss is going to begin to plateau and you could potentially gain weight. With all these diets, like all those diets I just mentioned, you can gain weight on all of those if you're over consuming. And I will say calories will play somewhat of a role. You can't just keep pounding the fat on keto carnivore and expect to lose weight. So I would suggest keep those grams 100 grams or below. You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna lose weight, all right? Stay tuned for more in this video. I'm kind of undecided as to what I'm gonna be eating today. So just stick with me. I wanna show you exactly what I'm gonna be eating today. Who knows, maybe I'll just, not do just totally lean today. Maybe I'll have some eggs. I got all these eggs right here that my brother gave me. He's got all these chickens down in South Florida. These are fresh eggs from the chickens that he has, and we haven't even eaten them yet. Cool thing is you can leave these things on the counter for like 2 to 3 months because they have like a protective coating on it. You just got to make sure to wash the eggshell before you cook the eggs. So stay tuned. I'm going to kind of decide. I know the first thing I'm going to have is I'm going to have this protein shake, but stay tuned and we'll see what I'm going to eat for lunch and dinner. So I've decided to do 2 chicken breasts. So I'm actually heating it up now. It's about a little past 12 o'clock. So I'm going to have that. And I'm going to have this yogurt that has 15 grams of protein and no fat. So that's going to be, I guess, my second meal. I mean, I had the protein shake when I got back from the gym, but this is going to be my actual whole food meal. And I'm still not decided what I'm going to have for dinner, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eat this with the yogurt. And that is going to be technically my first meal of the day. All right, here we go. Meal number 1. We got 2 chicken breasts. I made sure that filleted them, made them real thin, have a nice marinade, had them on the grill, and then we're gonna go ahead and have this Okios 000 yogurt, 15 grams of protein. So a lot of protein, very lean, and 0 fat. I mean, there's probably a little bit of fat in chicken, but it's like what, 1 to 2 grams? Not a big deal. All right, so it is getting close to having my next meal, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna keep it to 2 meals. The chicken was good with the yogurt, and I was kind of undecided as to what am I going to eat for dinner. I have those scallops. I could have eggs. I could have salad. So I think I'm going to make a smoothie. I haven't had a smoothie in over a week. Ever since I went to Legoland last week, I was doing my whole sugar diet and sugar fasting and all that stuff. So I thought, you know what, let me just keep it simple. I'm just going to do some strawberries and mango. Because, I did buy this expensive Vitamix, and it's just been kind of sitting here for a week, and I want to start using it, but I'm not going to be doing smoothies all the time, okay? I'm kind of going back to more of a keto carnivore type of diet, but every now and then I'm going to throw in a smoothie. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to do the added sugars and all that stuff like I was doing. So if you watched my video, let's see, about a couple days ago, I basically just said, I'm just going to eat, reasonably. I'm not going to overdo it. If I feel like I want to have something, I'm going to have something. So technically, I'm not doing like a hardcore keto carnivore diet because every now and then I may want to add a smoothie. And there's nothing wrong with that because at the end of the day, I'm only having 2 meals. I mean, chicken breasts and that yogurt. I mean, what was that? Like maybe 500-600 calories. The smoothie might be the same. I mean, I may only have about 1,000 calories today. Now, if you're consistently having 1,000 calories every single day, that's going to totally stall your metabolism and you will hit a plateau and you'll stop losing weight because you don't want to down-regulate your metabolism. It takes a long time for that to happen. But here's the thing, just eat intuitively. If you're not hungry, there's no sense saying to yourself like, okay, it's time to eat dinner, so I'm going to eat dinner. that makes no sense. Like, where did this all come from? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I think we've just been conditioned to eat that way. Why not just eat based on how your body feels? All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's almost time to have this meal, so I'm gonna cut my meal off by 5. I'm gonna try not to eat past 5. That really helps if you can kind of cut your meal off before it gets dark. So that's basically what I'm gonna be doing today, and I'm really curious to see how much weight I'll lose tomorrow. As you saw at the beginning of this video, it's 184.1. So we'll just see, we'll keep going so we can aim for that 175. Tomorrow is officially July 1st, but I basically started a couple days ago with my new goal of 175. So that's basically it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and always hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. Until next time, I'll see you tomorrow.